Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video I'm going to be doing the Comic Love book tag. The creator of this tag was Lazy Owl, and I will be putting a link to her original video in the description down below. I was tagged by Eric at Breakeven Books, and we'll also be putting a link to his video in the description down below. Can't really tell, but I'm wearing a requisite Batman shirt. On that note, let me just say I tried not to answer something Batman related for literally every one of these questions, but I didn't always succeed, so cut me some slack.
First question, which comic book series made you fall in love with comics?
I actually started getting interested in comics because I watched a ton of comic book related TV shows. So I have two for this, which is Teen Titans for the first and Ultimate X-Men for the second. I was totally into the Teen Titans Cartoon Network show. It was one of my favorites when I was a kid. And although there are a ton of different X-Men TV shows, I loved X-Men Evolution. Although it's definitely not accurate to the comics, it actually introduces a far bigger cast of mutants than any other show I've ever watched. Because of those, I got each of these comics and started reading them as much as I could. Next question.
Most underappreciated or underhyped comic book?
For this one, I'm going with X-23. She is one of my absolute favorites. Although we finally got to see a screen adaptation of her in Logan, it was not the Laura I know and love. She was still fairly young. She wasn't nearly as well a trained killer. If you're unaware, Laura Kinney is essentially a clone of Wolverine. However, every time they attempted to make a male clone, it would fail, so they ended up making a female, and it finally succeeded. Laura was literally raised to become a living weapon, so although she is very mature when it comes to things like blood and killing, she is very much emotionally immature. This weird polarization in one character after she eventually escaped Weapon X, and watch as she slowly tries to understand different emotions and how to express them. I absolutely love her relationship with Logan. Although she is technically a clone, he treats her almost just like a daughter. Laura actually recently became the official Wolverine, and I love that. I'm so happy about it. So once again, definitely underappreciated.
Next question is the most loved LGBT plus diverse comic.
For that one, I gotta go with Batwoman. She is great. She's a lesbian and she's a total badass. She was in the armed forces, was eventually kicked out because she was gay, and ends up becoming a superhero. She initially comes up with Batwoman all on her own, but she actually does get accepted into the Bat family. In the original comics, Kate was at one point a love interest for Bruce and then became a cousin of Bruce. The non-Batman related answer is Deadpool. Deadpool is actually pansexual, if you weren't aware. He literally is just interested in anyone his brain tells him he is at that point in time. I mean, come on, the man is absolutely hilarious. It's really hard to dislike him. Next question.
Most loved comic book hero sidekick?
Every one of the Robins, even the bad ones. I'm looking at you, Damien. Not you, Jason. You're a pain in the ass, but you're my pain in the ass. Next question.
Most loved comic book publisher, if you have one?
I have to say DC has my heart. I do love Marvel Comics as well, but I just prefer the fact that many of DC's storylines always seem as though they are mysteries. I also just love the dark and noir themes we get to see throughout many of the DC comics, and Batman's been one of my absolute favorites since I was a kid. He's my brother's favorite as well, so I can't not choose DC. Next question that I'm gonna have a lot for.
Most loved screen to print or print to screen adaptation?
So because I have a ton, I'm going to name one for every one of the major publishers I read. Starting off with DC. For that one, I'm definitely gonna go with Batman Under the Red Hood. I loved that we finally got to see Jason Todd on the screen, and he was actually voiced by Jensen Ackles. That's his name. All I could think was Dean Winchester, and I knew that wasn't right. Jensen's voice absolutely matches this character perfectly. If he was about 10 years younger, I actually would say I would love to see him do a live action of him, but at this point, I think he may just be a bit too old. Along with that, we get to see Dick in the new Nightwing suit, and he's voiced by Neil Patrick Harris, so I mean, how do you not love that combo? Next is Dark Horse Comics, and for that one I have to go with Angel. I love Angel. He was my favorite part in the first 3 seasons of Buffy. Honestly, after he left, I kind of lost interest in that TV show. I own the entirety of the Angel series and have rewatched it countless times. I actually want to start officially collecting all of the omnibus and finally read the continuation after the TV show ended, because where the TV show ends, the comic book still continues. Finally, Marvel. As much as I love DC, Marvel Cinematic Universe is so much better, and for this one I have to go with my boy, Captain America Winter Soldier. Bucky is my heart. He is a sweet cinnamon roll who is terrifying in this movie, and I love that. Sebastian Stan, y'all. He just plays this character so well and manages to showcase Bucky's struggle of trying to remember who he is while also dealing with the PTSD of being, you know, a Russian spy. Also, I know it's not cool, but I love scenes where we get to see friends fighting against each other, because there's the whole dynamic of they know each other, they know how they fight, and that means the fight's gonna be that much more intense. Next question, finally.
Most loved newly published trade, paperback comic, or graphic novel?
For this one, I'm actually going to go with The Chronicles of Exandria, The Mighty Nine by Critical Role. I love the idea of Critical Role, and although I'm not currently in a D&D campaign, I'm setting up a character now, I promise, Bob. I definitely just can't bring myself to sit and watch like a 5-hour campaign being played by other people when I'm not even playing it myself. However, I love all the people in Critical Role, and I would love to read the comicization? I'm going with it. The comicization of their campaign. Next question.
Most loved POC comic book creator or comic book featuring a POC character?
For this one, I'm going to go with another one of my childhood favorites, which was Vixen. Vixen has the ability to tap into different animal spirits and take on some of their traits, so she can make herself as heavy as an elephant or as fast as a cheetah. She has similar powers to Animal Man, minus all the campiness, plus a lot more sass. Also, she's a model. Along with that, reading up on this character when I was younger helped me to learn a little bit about the Akan culture from Western Africa, and that was really cool and not something I'd ever been exposed to before. I love this character, and she's usually only really seen in Justice League. I think she might have gotten some attention in the CW Arrowverse, but we don't talk about those TV shows. So unfortunately, we've never seen her past the Justice League TV show. Final question.
Which comic book world would you most like to live in?
Well, given the fact that majority of comic books take place on some form of a Earth, I guess I'm gonna go with Earth. Lastly, tag some Booktubers. Given the fact I don't know a lot of people who do a bunch with comic books, I'm literally tagging anyone who loves comics, and give me a link down below. I will go watch it, because like I said, I need more comic book people in my life. Alright y'all, thank you so much for coming to my video today. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Bye!